Quale bambola è bianca? Quale bambola è nera? Quale delle due è bella?
Questa.
Qual è quella bella? Qual è quella brutta? E qual è quella buona? Quale è cattiva? Qual è buona?
Lei.
Perché è buona?
Perché ha gli occhi celesti.
Quale è cattiva? Perché è cattiva?
Perché è tutto nero.
E qual è la bambola che ti somiglia di più? Quale bambola è nera?
Mi ha offeso.
Chi?
Tu.
Perché?
Perché mi hai chiamato nera.
Perché ti offendi?
Mi offendi perché altri bambini mi hanno offeso con cattiveria.
No, io non ho usato nessuna cattiveria.
Quello mi sta guardando storto.
Are we ready to begin? Okay. Let's start. Thank you for being with us here tonight, Miss Christ. We appreciate your coming on such a short notice. And we're grateful to have you here because your presence, as it is important. And it is worthwhile to note that you speak even now to those who would hear and to those who would listen. A couple of questions. We know that you are the Miss America from 2019, I believe it was, and 2019 Miss America. And we know that those pageants are very challenging. It's not just about being able to step up with a pretty face, but you have to do a whole lot of work. It's a lot of investing time and a lot of struggle. But you won. You proved that you could do it, not only to yourself, but to others and to the entire world. You reached that height of being crowned Miss America. I'm sure you were excited about the occasion. And your life on that level was a testimony to so many people. It inspired and encouraged so many people who had so many feelings about their own lives and so many insecurities, I'm sure, that they have faced throughout the years. And you've even overcome your own insecurities and prevailed in regards to those struggles. Can you tell us, though, because I'm sure many of our listeners and our viewers would really want to know why? Well, they would want to know why it is that someone who has become Miss America, someone who has reached that epitome, the mountaintop of what some might call beauty and grace and favor. You reach that. So why? We want to know what our viewers want to know, what I want to know, and I think that the world would like to know is, how can a person who is so enveloped in such a remarkable beauty as yours, a person who has shown herself being so articulate, even to the level to whereas she is a correspondent on Extra, a person who is so powerful in their presentation, such as you obviously are. They want to know, I want to know, we want to know why. Why is your voice silent tonight? Why are you not answering my questions? Why are you not present? Why are you not here? We want to know why. Why has a role model for so many people? Why has someone so wonderfully blessed with that which pleases the eye? Why? Why is the smile on your face now silenced? Why don't you speak to us and let us know a little bit more about your thinking, a little bit more about your disposition, your feelings? Why are you quiet? Why are you silent? Why aren't you telling us, even if you don't tell me, who you barely know and really don't know, and even if you don't speak to the press and to media and to magazine article writers and all of this? Why are you being quiet about the very reason we are asking why? Can you share with us? Can you just give a little understanding, a little clarity, because our minds cannot even begin to connect the dots as to why someone who has such a remarkable smile, lovely face, a kind disposition, who has so much going for them, why are we asking why now? Won't you tell us as to what has silenced your voice, and even before you silenced your voice, why have you shut down? Why did you shut down, more appropriately? Now here, I and my listeners who join us tonight are struggling because we don't understand how it is that with all of that which you have going on, not just what our eyes can see in beauty, but with your position on Extra, a television program, surely that was a huge undertaking. Even if you had not even won Miss America, we still would want to know how a person who seems to have it going on the level that you have it going on, Miss Chris, why have you chosen to silence your voice? Why have you chosen to remove from us the role model that you represent, perhaps to thousands or hundreds of thousands, not only who are present now, but who are also going to be present even yet unborn today? Why? Why now must we hear silence where there used to be sound? Why must we see emptiness and nothing where there used to be a beautiful face? Why do we now have not the benefit of your touch be it physical, emotional, mental. Why? Why have you chosen this? Why? My mind, I must admit, my mind is still searching for answers as to how somebody, even on your level, when there are so many people who have not climbed to the level that you have ascended to, why have you elected to silence your voice? Why? There is stillness from the place where you once dwelled. Why? I'm asking these questions to Miss Chris tonight. I'm asking them, but in truth, I'm asking them to not just Miss Chris, but also to myself and to all of those of you who are tuned in. While she has elected to still her voice, on some level now her voice rises to a level that it has never ever been heard before, and perhaps, prayerfully, will never be heard again. The voice now ascends to a place where the absent are more present than the present who are present. She speaks to me in this matter, not in the physical, but in the spiritual. She speaks to my mind. She speaks to my consciousness. She speaks to the morals and the values. And she even reaches down into the depths of my biases and my prejudices. And she speaks because she wants to be heard. She has always desired to be heard. And at times, Miss Chris, I am sure you have opened your mouth on some occasion and attempted to speak of the pain and of the emptiness and of the sorrow and of the struggle that brought you to the place where we now ask why. Why is your voice silent? Your face removed from us, not by the hand of a killer, but by your own choice, Miss Chris. But is it by just your choice? Are we indeed accomplices to the killing, to the suffering, to the torture of all of us? Are we guilty as charged, as being individuals, whether we be in the church or out of the church, who have handled our brothers and our sisters so carelessly and so coldly and so cruelly, while at the same time seeming to profess that we are somewhat better than them, that somehow we are greater than them, that somehow their lives are less important and in value than our own lives? Miss Chris, I believe I'm beginning to understand what you are saying now. Even in the silence of your absence, I believe now I'm beginning to get it. I begin to hear what you have been trying to declare on some level. But only in this moment, in this cruel, cold moment, only in this situation, only at this place, at this disposition of yours, by your own choice, have now your words that have been largely verbally unheard, now on a national and international level, being heard even more clearly. Miss Chris, you jumped off a Manhattan building. I believe it was 30 stories high. You jumped off of it by your own choice and took your own life. Why would you do that? My mind is trying to put together these pieces, trying to understand the details, the depth of the sorrow, the heights of your struggle, and the width of your disappointment, in order to try to understand your why. Because on some level, I am convinced that if we do not come to learn and understand your why, then a lot more of us are going to be asking the very same question. Why? Why would you give up on you, on your life? What was your misery? What was that which disappointed you so greatly to whereas your life for you lost all of its value, sucked out like the water in a tub? Why? And then it comes to me. Some folk might would answer that the reason why you did it was because you were vain. The reason why you did it was because you didn't have deep value in yourself, deep love and appreciation for who you are as God had made you. And maybe that simple answer might be enough to allow others to keep on moving on. But somehow in my spirit, I believe and perceive that your why has a greater and deeper answer than that. And so that's why I've come tonight to you in this form and fashion, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm struggling not only with why for you, but why for so many others. Why for many of our young people, given that suicide is one of the highest killers of our teenagers. Why it is that some older people just want to just die. Why it is that in the midst of sorrow and struggle, when you're trying to cry out and trying to get people to listen to you and hear you, we are not hearing. And why the struggle to accept one's own self, to love one's own self. And so, Miss Chris, with your presence tonight in this fashion, I just want to look at a couple of things. I just want to just spiritually digest and try to hear what word might come from the Lord in regards to why. And then he comes to me in the spirit. The Lord speaks to me and he says, my people are not listening to me. They continually are distracted by so many other things. They continue to put greater priority on temporary things rather than putting real value and trust and work in eternal things. He said, I give them this commandment. I give them the commandment. I have told my people to love one another. To love one another. I've told them that you cannot even begin to say that you love me whom you have never seen, but hate your brother who you see every day. And so I pause, Miss Kristen, and I wonder, how much love did you feel from others? How much concern? How much real concern? Or was it that people treated you shallow and just saw you as only eye candy? Did they just see you as being a person with no greater value than what their eyes could see? I don't know. I'm asking the question because, to be honest with you, Miss Chris, I believe that I have been guilty many times, way too many times, of just handling and treating people and judging people based upon what my eyes can see. And for a person such as yourself, who brings to the table so much more of a greater value, talent, ability, youth, it is easy for one to overlook that because they are blinded by the beauty that the eye sees. I ask myself the question, how many times in my own life have people judged me based upon some exterior conquer, didn't you? How many times have we really delved into the best part of people and embraced them, loved them, looked beyond what our eyes could see or the mere lust of the flesh even, and loved them? I've got a couple of scriptures here I want to. Colossians 3:13 said, well, let me go to Ephesians 4:2-3. It says, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, we should bear one another in love. The way that we treat one another, each other, ought not to be even based upon how we are treated by that individual, but rather we are commanded to love one another and to treat one another with gentleness. I don't know what you have been through today. I don't know the struggle that you have had. And so before I judge you, even in the midst of the irritability that you are showing me, even in the midst of the sadness that I see or the aloofness that I detect, I ought to remember first command is that I love you, and bear you up. And I'm wondering tonight, I know that you're not going to answer me, but I'm wondering tonight how many times have people around you, even so-called friends, and maybe even family, how many times have they bared you up? How many times have they really truly been there for you? And I'm not trying to find anybody to blame, because it was your why. Even now as it is our why. The text says that with all humility and gentleness, with patience, all humility, humbleness, and patience, long suffering. I know every day you didn't wake up and have a wonderful attitude, a smile on your face. I know there were times when you felt some kind of way. But people perhaps was looking for you to always have this painted smile on your face. And sometimes it's difficult for us to share with people that we are struggling today. That I may not be like I was yesterday. I may not be like I was last week. I may not be like I was or will be on tomorrow. But today, right now, I'm struggling right now. And some of us are too afraid because people have judged us and put us on a mantle and put us in a place to whereas we can't have any rough days. We can't have any sorrows. We can't have any struggle. We are forbidden to have any lows. And maybe that's a part of your why. Why you did what you did, chose what you chose. Why? Colossians 3:13 says that bearing with one another, and if one has a complaint against another, it says we ought to forgive each other as the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. The burden, the ugliness that we put upon other people because they have done us wrong, or we feel violated and trespassed against us. And we put this burden of guilt and anger. You hurt me as a husband. You hurt me as a wife. And so I am going to make you earn this forgiveness. I'm going to put you through the storm and the rain. I'm going to shake you up because you need to feel my pain. No, they need to forgive your forgiveness because you say that you love them, Love forgives. It doesn't punish. It doesn't seek her own. It's not puffed up. It's not vengeful. And I wonder tonight, Miss Chris, is your why somehow embedded in an unforgiveness, a state of unforgiveness? Either you did not forgive somebody or somebody didn't forgive you, or you could not forgive yourself. A lot of whys, might I add. Miss Chris, a lot of our whys are based upon the fact that we cannot even begin to forgive ourselves. I know you're not going to answer me about that. That's your own private business, but I'm just, in my mind and in my spirit, I just sense that one of the reasons why it is that we struggle is because we cannot get somebody to forgive us, even though God has forgiven them. And we cannot even forgive ourselves, even though God may have forgiven us. The weight of the guilt placed upon us behind some sin becomes so heavy that it burdens our day. So I want to pause. Miss Chris, excuse me, I need to pause and speak to my listeners. I need you to understand and to hear my voice. Nobody has the right to hold a grudge based upon what was done by you. Not if they know themselves that they have been forgiven by God. So, if you have been forgiven of one trespass, one sin, one error, one guilty stain, you have absolutely, positively no right to hold any grudge, stain, vendetta, sin, anger on that level against your brother or sister. I said it. I said it, Miss Chris. I said it. Because that's not love. That's not the love of God. You were forgiven because God loved you. Forgive others. I got to move. It's more to this. As for the one who is weak in faith, we're supposed to welcome him. Welcome the weak in faith. Everybody not on the same level. No one even can condemn you, Miss Chris, for your why. Because they can make judgments about what they believe and what they think. They could say it's a shame. They could say she just didn't have great value. Or they could come down on you and condemn you. But in the truth and reality, they don't know your story. They don't know your struggle. They don't know your pain. God didn't show any partiality. Romans 2:11 say God showed no partiality. John 3:16 says, we all know this, Miss Chris. This is frequent in the church said. It says, and I love it, it said, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So, if God can give us a whosoever will, if God can give us a whosoever will, Miss Chris, if God can give it to us, we should be able to give it to our brothers and sisters. I move now because, Miss Chris, you are, as you've heard probably 1,000 times, you are beautiful. But when people speak of beautiful, they are oftentimes speaking of pretty. Because real beauty ought to be able to be seen with your eyes closed. Your presence ought to speak beauty. Your intelligence ought to speak beauty. Your spirit ought to speak beauty. And when I open up my eyes, regardless of how I define what I see, I ought to appreciate the real beauty that is within thee. Now I've got to pause because the Spirit now moves me in a different direction. And Miss Chris, I want you to stay with me in this because I know that you join in with me, because now I have to bring this thing to another place. And the place that I want to bring it to is one, in the love that we have for one another. The love that we have for one another ought not to be based upon the color of one's skin, ought not to be based upon how one is dressed or how one's hair is. It ought not to be based upon one's education or one's economic situation. The love that we have for one another ought not to be based upon how much we could get from somebody else. It ought not to be based upon how the past has presented itself to us through them. The love that we have for one another ought not to be based upon such shallow things, but ought to be greater. Because in the realness and in the fullness of life, Miss Chris, all of us need love. All of us need some kind of embracement. All of us need some kind of acceptance. All of us need somebody to look beyond our faults and see our need. All of us need to hear the cries of others and have others to hear our cry. The weight that we put on our children is extreme. Even child to child. She can play ball, but he just reads books. Oh, he's athletic. Gonna be mama superstar, dad superstar. That one over there, I'm not sure what they gonna be. The pressure. The pressure. No wonder the depression leads to the depression. Miss Chris, I believe you understand what I'm talking about. And so the pressure comes in by others, from the voices that say that they love us, from the voices that say that they support us, from the voices that are supposed to accept us just as we are, from the voices that should be looking beyond our weaknesses and helping us to build on our strengths. Miss Chris, are you still with me? Stay. And because all of this is a part of your why somewhere, I'm sure. It's a lot of pressure we put on our kids and on each other. We find children are guilty of being hard on other children. They laugh at them because they fat. They laugh at them because they're dark black. They laugh at them because they're skinny. They laugh at them because their clothes have holes in them and not the designer kind. They laugh at them because they have a smell. They laugh at them because they are not just as smooth and refined as some other child is. They laugh at them. They laugh at them when the children are bitter and irate and angry and act out. They laugh. The teachers, the professionals, the principals, the administrators cannot seem to just love anyway. And I'm not talking about everybody. I am talking about everybody all the time. Because you can't pick and choose real love. Real love is outstanding. Real love is automatic. Real love happens not sometimes, but all the time. And we need to focus in on the love, not the judge. We need to focus on accepting and embracing people and letting them know, regardless of what my eyes can see, your value is real. Miss Chris, I just wanted to be able to talk to you and to tell you, I'm so sorry. Because on some level in your why, you broke. On some level in your why, you were failed. On some level in your why, the enemy, the dark, depressed night prevailed and consumed your daylight. And so today we ask why. Listen. How hard is it for you to just forgive me? Not costing you a dime. How hard is it for you to greet me with a humane word, to treat me with some kind of warmth and love? How hard is it to not judge me because of what your eyes see, or because of what the rumor your ears have heard? How hard can it be for you to stop thinking about your own comfort zone? How hard can it be? God so loved the whole world, he gave his only begotten Son, and then declared, whosoever will. Whosoever will. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever will believe on him will not perish, but have eternal. If God can open up the door to everybody, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless to their past, regardless of whether they got pimples in their face or whether they got a lump on their neck, regardless of whether they have spots and splotches on their skin, regardless of whether they have ashy knees or ashy ankles, if God can still say, if God can do it, who are we? But we judge. It's Chris. Or we judge as though we have the right to judge. We judge as though we have some kind of credibility. We judge as though somehow we have been always absent from sin. We cast a shadow on others, as though we are the only ones allowed to walk in the marvelous light, while the low, decadent less thans, forever forbidden from the light, but must dwell in the darkness of sin, shame, and depression. Philippians 2, 3, and 4 says something about this. It says, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit. Conceit with the seat. Conceit with the seats. That somehow you sit higher than somebody else. Miss Chris, if anybody, based upon what the eyes could see and the definition of success written in the world. If anybody had a position where they could have felt high, not that they should, you might have qualified. But a person can be in a place in the eyes of others, but in a different place in their own eyes. The value or position is to the one who sits in that seat, not to those who cast the judgment. Miss Chris, I'm feeling some kind of way because I know that on some level, even with caring hands and arms around you, you still had a why. And fear, insecurity, rooted in our own systems, insecurities, fears, birth from the womb of judging, scornful, critical, high-minded, self-righteous people, of which I must be honest, way too many times I've been that person. So I cannot just put it on somebody else. But the scripture says, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. And had we done this, maybe we would not be asking why. About your why. Miss Chris. I am struggling. And so I kind of want to bring this interview to a conclusion, Ms. Chris. Because we have lost the you that we have known. But maybe we can find the you that we missed. Sadly, in death, particularly in a suicide, we finally meet the person lost for the first time. With the death of the person that we thought we knew. I'm saying this because we have a lot of work to do, Miss Chris. We have a lot of work to do, my people. We have a lot of work to do because there are some Miss Chris in your world, my world. I am becoming a part of their why. And sometimes I don't even know why. Maybe it starts with me being aware. Aware that I have to not only look out for others, but I have to remind others that I'm looking out for them. Maybe the stranger is an angel in disguise, testing me to see whether or not I can be sensitive, whether or not I can let Christ show through me, whether or not I'm going to be who I claim to be. Maybe my children are present to remind me that I have to press for the higher mark unless they settle for a lower one. Maybe this forum right here, maybe this social media outlet is for me to pour out truth about accepting people, loving people. Stop judging people. Stop expecting people. Stop being unforgiving to people. And become more humble. 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 Not boisterous. Not conceited. Not self-righteous. Not judgmental. Humble. The instrument that tells everybody, I get it. You're beautiful. Eyes closed. I get it. This world isn't about me. It's about helping others. I get it. I got to shut up and listen. Ask questions to show that I care. Not as a show, but as a truth. Because I care. Somebody might be listening to me tonight. Miss Chris, on some level, I want to tell you, thank you. It sounds most inappropriate because it took your why to bring me to the place where I can ask why so that I can prevent other whys. Is anyone listening to me tonight? Know this. The value of who you are is never going to be found in the color of your skin. The value of who you are is never going to be found in whether you make that A or you end up with that D or F. The value of who you are is not defined by how eloquent you are or how popular you are. Understand this. Not everybody is going to know your value. And not even you will know all of your value. This is a process. This is a continual process where you grow, you learn, you go through, you get tried in the fire, but you don't quit. Why? Because whether you feel unloved, unlovable, or unloving, I love you. No, I do. I love you. I'm not saying that as a pastor. I'm not saying that as a teacher. I'm not saying that with any position, because in my humility, I realize I'm nothing. God is something important, someone important. God is the real value. And the love that he brings fills you with value. And the love that he is defines your value. I don't want to ask why for you. And you should never have to ask why for me. And if you're not being heard, if you don't feel that you are heard, if you don't feel that you are accepted, if you don't feel that you are part of anything, if you don't feel good, if you feel bad, nasty, ugly, broken, left out, if you feel the negativity, it is not an uncommon struggle for us all. But your struggle, your feelings count. So I'm just going to ask you to do this. Be heard. Before people have to ask why, be heard. Be heard. Make sure somebody hears you. Be heard. Be heard. Miss Chris, I hear you, but I don't want to have to ask why before I hear you. I'm going to close it, I guess. I'm talking to you, though. I am. I'm talking to you. Be heard. You've come this far. You've struggled this much. You've cried those many tears. You've cut yourself. You've done harm to yourself. You've acted out. People are not hearing you. Be heard. If you're not making any progress with the people around you, contact me. Yeah, contact me and say, man, you told me to be heard. So, will you listen? Thank you. Until next time. God bless you. Miss Chris? Thank you.